Dear students, welcome back. In this session, we will learn about gastrulation in Amphioxus. So last session, we learned about the general process of gastrulation, what is its importance and how actually this process occurs. And we also learned about the morphogenetic movements that is seen during this process. So and we also learned that gastrulation results in the formation of three germ layers, which in turn give rise to all structures and organs of the future embryo, of the developing embryo. So here also you see similar process wherein these diagrams represent the process of gastrulation in Amphioxus. You can see that the presumptive endoderm cells are invaginating in, forming a new cavity, the archenteron. With this, the blastocele gets reseeded and then the closure of blastopore. So how actually these processes occur, we learn in detail in this session. I am Dr. Lata, Assistant Professor, Department of Zoology, Maharani Science College for Women, Bengaluru. Now this is just a recap of what we learned in our previous session. There we learned about different kinds of morphogenetic movements like invagination, involution, ingression, delamination and epiboly. Now, for the process of gastrulation to start, like we know that a zygote is formed by the fusion of gametes, and then you have the cleavage setting on, which results in ball of cells known as morula. And then in this morula, when there is a formation of a space called as blastocele, it is termed as blastula. And this single layered blastula will exhibit different kinds of morphogenetic movements, so that this single layered blastula is converted into a gastrula with three germ layers, the ectoderm, endoderm and the mesoderm. And in this process, blastocele get completely replaced by a new cavity called as archenteron. And hence once the gastrula is with all these three germ layers, and when archenteron is formed, you call that as the process of gastrulation. Now, as we said earlier, gastrulation is a process by which a monoblastic blastula is converted into a structure containing well-defined three germ layers from which different organs can be formed. Now, during this gastrulation, the presentive materials of gut, the notochord, and the mesodermal crescent, it disappear from the surface of the embryo into the interior of the embryo, and only the ectodermal cells persist on the surface, because the actual position of these mesoderm and the endodermal blastomeres are to be inside. So it is through this inward movement that the mesoderm and the endodermal blastomeres, they disappear from the surface. They move from this gray crescent or the marginal zone and the endodermal cells, and then they move inside and occupy their place. Now, when we say these mesoderm and endodermal cells move inside, these changes are brought about by the following processes. That is, one is the invagination, the second one is involution. Both of them are embolic movement because they exhibit an inward movement of blastomeres, and the third one, the epiboly, which is an outward movement. Now, invagination. So the first event during gastrulation in Amphioxus is the flattening of the endodermal cell plate at the vegetal pole. Once this endodermal cells become flattened, that represents the first stage in this. You can see in this diagram here, the flattening of the endodermal plate takes place, which in turn results in the formation, that is the first event to trigger this process of gastrulation. Then what happens? Gradually it sinks inwards. Here you can see it is moving inward like this. It is sinking inwards. And when this sinks inward slowly, what happens? This cavity, the blastocele, that recedes. So when that blastocelic space starts receding, then the blastula will get converted into this cup shaped gastrula. Okay, from this shape it has been converted into a cup shaped structure. Now this in-tucking or inward bending of endoderm is what we call as invagination. So at the end of this invagination, the invaginated macromeres, if you see, these the ones which are towards the animal pole, these are the micromeres and these are the macromeres. So when this invagination ends, what is happening? These macromeres are coming close to these micromeres and lying close to that, isn't it? The same thing is said here. Now when these macromeres come very close to micromeres, then what will happen? The entire blastocele and a single layer blastula gets converted into the presumptive epidermis and the presumptive nervous system and is named as ectoderm or the epiblast. The inner wall comprises of the mesentoderm, that is mesoderm plus endoderm, and the rudiments of rotochord, that is the hypoblasts. The cavity of this gastrula is known as the primary gut or the archenteron, and the opening of this archenteron to the exterior is what is called as blastopore. It is through this, the blastopore, the archenteron communicates with the outside environment. And this blastopore represents the future anus of the developing embryo. Now the next process that occurs here is involution. Now at the rim of the blastopore, and particularly at its dorsal lip, the cells proliferate very rapidly by active cell divisions and they get arranged in 6 transverse rows just anterior to the dorsal lip. Now in this diagram you can make out this is the dorsal lip of blastopore, and here the cell division becomes much more rapid and hence forms 6 layers of cells. Now 3 of these rows remain on the outer surface of the gastrula and form the epiblast, that which in turn forms the ectoderm, and these participate in the formation of neural tube. That is, these epiblast cells which are formed by rapid division of these cells on the outer surface of the gastrula, they form epiblast, which in turn give rise to the neural tube. That is, they form the neural ectodermal cells. Whereas the other 3 layers, they involute inside here. They involute inside, and as they involute, observe for the change in shape of the cells. Earlier they were tubular here. If you observe these layers, they are tubular blastomeres, but by the end here they have become little columnar in shape. So the other 3 rows, they involute into the archenteron and form the part of hypoblast, which in turn give rise to notochord. And in addition, the process of this involution also changes the cell shape. The cells of the hypoblast having round inner ends, they assume more columnar form, and the cells of epiblast become more cubical because they tend to stretch on the outer surface of the embryo. Now these are the diagrams which describes you the complete process of gastrulation in Amphioxus. So you can just see all the changes that is represented. The flattening of endoderm in B, then invagination of endoderm in C and D, and in E you can see the complete invagination of this, and the blastocele is completely replaced by a new cavity, that is archenteron. And in this diagram E, if you observe, the ectodermal cells have become more cubical, whereas the mesoderm and the endodermal cells have become more columnar in nature. And the F1, that shows the closure of this blastopore because earlier the dorsal lip of the blastopore forms first, and then with the involution of the mesoderm you form the ventral lip of the blastopore. And as these two constrict, when they come try to, when the epiboly occurs, that results in the constriction of the blastopore, and hence the closure of blastopore occurs. And the diagram H here represents the the above view as to how this movement and gastrulation process are happening, and it represents the closure of this blastopore. Now this is the final structure of gastrulation in Amphioxus. You can see that you can see the ventral lip of blastopore, the dorsal lip of blastopore, and two lateral lips are also formed as the blastopore becomes constricted, and the ectoderm expands all over the surface of this embryo, and the ectoderm covers almost the whole surface of the embryo. Endoderm has moved inside completely, and even the mesodermal cells have involuted inside. Now the third process that occurs here is the third morphogenetic movement that is seen is the epiboly, or the ectodermal cells, which grows over the cells of this mesodermal crescent and the notochordal area, and it brings about the constriction of the blastopore. This outward movement of cells is what is called as epiboly. Now this blastopore, when we talk about, initially it will be very wide and roughly triangular, and then it slowly becomes oval, and it finally becomes circular due to the formation of this dorsolateral and ventrolateral lips of this blastopore, and finally it closes. Now once this presumptive notochord and the mesoderm of forming areas have shifted to the interior of the gastrula, they change their relative position, and the lateral horns of this mesodermal crescent converge towards the dorsal side of the embryo, so that they come and lie on the sides, both the sides of this presumptive notochord. So on the roof of the archenteron, if you find notochord, on either side of the notochord you find this mesodermal cells, and this sheet of cells are called as chorda mesoderm. Now after the contraction of this rim of the blastopore gets shifted to somewhat dorsal position, and the embryo elongates in antero-posterior direction owing to the active cell division in the blastoporal lips and the various presumptive areas. And this completes the process of gastrulation in Amphioxus. So once the gastrulation is fully formed, it will show these following cells in the presumptive organ forming areas in these following positions. The notochordal material, meaning to say the blastomeres, which are giving rise to the notochord, they become stretched as a longitudinal band of cells mid-dorsally in the inner wall of the gastrula, whereas the mesodermal cells on its either lateral side being stretched in the same longitudinal direction, and the remaining ventral, lateral and anterior parts of the inner wall are formed by the endodermal cells, whereas the outer wall, it contains a mid-dorsal band of presumptive neural plate which is stretched lengthwise just above the notochordal band, and the ectodermal cells of the whole embryo, it develops cilia, and the gastrula remains enclosed in the vitelline membrane and rotates freely within it. So that's how the structure of complete structure of gastrula is formed in Amphioxus. Later, once the gastrulation is complete, it enters into the process of neurulation and organogenesis. So I hope you have understood this concept of gastrulation in Amphioxus. Thanks for listening. Have a nice day.